Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I don't even know where to start in regards to the Israel conflict potentially causing some form of black swan event for our markets. I have gotten so many comments about this. I have gotten a bunch of messages about this, a bunch of emails about this. So I want to talk about what's currently going on, what the situation looks like, how this could affect our markets, and what my expectations are in regards to this. Now, hopefully everything is fine, but there is a chance this turns into a much bigger event. Now, a lot of people have pointed out oil. I mean, oil is going to spike coming tomorrow morning. That's obvious. Can the markets handle that or not? How jumpy potentially are investors? Let's go ahead and get into this whole situation. We will break down a little bit of AMC, kind of how AMC could react if nothing happens, if the worst possible outcome happens. What is that worst possible outcome for the markets? And what do I expect to happen? So let's go ahead and get into it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section, guys. So first things first, what's going on? If you haven't seen, basically, Israel was invaded by Hamas. They are the ones that control basically the Gaza Strip. They've been in control for 17 years now, 16, 17 years now. And they basically went in there, seems like a couple thousand of them. They fired 3,000 rockets or so. A lot of them were intercepted. Some of them hit. There's 1,000 people that are killed on Israel's side. Basically an all-out war in 25 cities in South Israel. Now, Hamas is a terrorist organization. They control the Gaza Strip. They're backed by Iran. So Hamas just said 8 hours ago that attacks on Israel were backed by Iran, literally backed by Iran. And that makes sense because you pretty much have to see that, because Hamas doesn't have a chance by itself. To go in there and invade Israel, it would be like you walking up to a group of people and starting a fight. Unless you're Mike Tyson or somebody like that, odds are you get beat up, and odds are you still get beat up even if you are a Mike Tyson, right? Kind of like one of those situations. It's just not a winnable outcome, call it that. So I think that's where the fear kind of comes in. What if Iran or another country were to get into this conflict as well? What if it's not just Hamas and Israel, but maybe it's Lebanon, Iran, Hamas against Israel? That's where you get into potentially WW3. Really bad scenario. That's the worst case scenario for this outcome. If Iran were to get involved, we got involved, we'd obviously have to, take care of business, right? We got the American hat on. It wouldn't be no sweat off the shoulders, pretty much. But I mean, Iran is a nuclear faring state, so, or pretty dang close to one. If not, I believe they do have 100 or so nukes out there. So the potential could be really bad and not good. And I think that's where some people could get jumpy. I think that's where some people are saying this could be like a black swan event. This could be a really negative catalyst for the markets. And if you look at what the Iran leader said, he said, God willing, the cancer of the usurper Zionist regime will be eradicated at the hands of the Palestinian people and the resistance forces throughout the region, and went ahead and posted this video of hundreds of people storming the border. So there is a lot of people that do have some concerns that maybe Iran could step into this. And I think that's where the situation really turns into a bad event. Now, Elon reposted this and said, Iran's official position is clear that the eradication of Israel is the actual goal, not just supporting Palestinians. So it's strange because, without direct, Iran actually in Israel, Hamas is not going to get far here. So that's one of the weird things that makes me just think strategically strategically speaking, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, okay? So that's something to note. Now, the initial effects of this on the market, pretty clear. You're going to see a knee-jerk surge, according to oil experts, that predict a market impact of the Israel-Hamas conflict. That's because Israel, Hamas, they're not really oil-producing countries. They produce very little amount of oil, but the countries surrounding them produce a lot more oil. Right? Let's go ahead and pull up Israel on the world map. And I mean, they're all like oil-bearing countries, right? You have Israel right here. You have that's not good. Just see. I just want like a simple map, okay? Okay. Well, this is a little bit more challenging than I thought maybe it was going to be. Maybe this one will work. Well, we got to go on Amazon. Okay, whatever. You can see Israel's right there. You have Jordan, you have Syria, you have Iraq, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Iran over here, Turkey, Egypt, a little bit more of your oil-bearing countries over here that, things could be affected here, especially if they were to get into it. So that's something that you need to be watching for. I don't believe the markets are just going to collapse due to a surge in oil. And let me tell you why. Well, on Friday, we had a jobs report that come out at 330,000. You were expecting 170. People were fearing a surge in long-term treasury yields, which that did happen. The 30-year treasury went up 7.5 basis points. The 20-year treasury went up almost 9 basis points. The 10-year treasury went up almost 8 basis points. You did see a surge in treasury yields. But markets also ripped higher. There was none of what we've seen recently, where yields go higher, stocks go lower. That did not happen. Yields rocketed higher, and stocks also rocketed higher. So I don't think a surge in energy relative to what we've seen on Friday with bond yields is going to be this big bad event. But it could get worse, as noted by this oil expert. Quote, the impact of the oil price will be limited unless we see the war between the two sides expand quickly to a regional war. So if this were to, involve other countries, well, that could be a much bigger problem for oil. Obviously, would be WW3. That could be bad, okay? It says Israel boasts 2 oil refineries with a combined capacity of almost 300,000 barrels per day, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. The country has virtually no crude oil and condensate production. The Palestinian territories produce no oil, data from EIA shows. So very little oil comes out of Israel. It's not something that's directly going to have an effect on oil, but you will get what's called risk premium that will get priced into oil. Now, what this basically means, if you think about it like a stock that gets news that just shoots up out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys have ever traded news like that. A stock goes up 10% on some news that comes out, breaking news. Well, those options were probably really cheap before then, and they go up big time in value, sometimes thousands of percent in value. Well, the markets, they kind of digest that news, and they're like, hey, is this really good? Is this not? The premiums will fluctuate there. You can get an option going from $5 to $100 and then back to $50, and then maybe by the end of the day it's at $20, right? That's your risk premium. For sellers of those options, they're like, whoa, this thing could go crazy. We got to protect ourselves. We got to charge more premium. Basically the same thing. It's risk premium on oil. So you will see a rise in oil. I would say probably 3% if I were to imagine. I don't know if that's the end-all be-all that causes the markets to fall. I think you really need to see an escalation of this situation. Now, if the worst possible outcome were to happen, and this did go into a major war that had U.S. boots on the ground and a bunch of other countries involved, then obviously just forget it. It's going to be a bad situation, right? Stocks are going to fall, AMC is going to fall, indexes are going to fall, everything's going to fall, okay? I don't think that is what is going to happen. I don't think anyone is stupid enough to, mess around and find out when it comes to the U.S., but it's possible. Very low probability, I would say. It's more likely that this does turn into a Lebanon, Hamas, kind of deal. And that's exactly what the Israeli defense minister went out and said today, that you basically need to evacuate your kind of towns that are near the Lebanon border, because they're expecting Lebanon to also get in on the action and to help out Hamas, as they are not really the bestest friends with Israel as well. So that's something to be watching. If that does happen, I believe Lebanon produces some oil. Oil production. Yeah, they have like 865 million barrels of oil. Lebanon does not yet produce any quantity of oil, and reserve volumes are still not confirmed. So they are not really the biggest, oil producing country a day as well. But it could start to spread into more oil producing countries. And thus they explored the prospect of oil and natural gas extraction since 2021. So this is a recent thing for Lebanon, so not quite having a material effect as of right now. But these are the things to be watching for. It looks like Lebanon's probably about to get in on the action, maybe by tonight, maybe by tomorrow, at least what Israel is basically putting out there. So that's the worst case scenario. Stocks would obviously drop 20, 30, 40, 50% from here on an index level. That would obviously affect AMC a lot. Odds are you get a knee-jerk reaction from oil. This doesn't expand into a lot of other countries, and things kind of go back to business as usual. And I think AMC stock could rally quite a bit from here. I'm still expecting a big rally, as well as if AMC breaks above 950, that's where things get really exciting for AMC. If you break above $10 per share, yeah, that's where you want to be very, very long in AMC, in my personal opinion. But I think this is a lot of fear that is overblown by traders, by investors, since it is the weekend, and we really haven't had a chance to, get a feel for how this is going to affect the markets. All markets have been closed. So here shortly, we should be getting I believe the Chinese markets open first. Maybe it's the European markets. Doesn't matter. We'll see what kind of effect this is going to have on those markets, and that will give us a little bit better of an insight on maybe the effect that it will have on our markets, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this situation down below in the comment section. I know you guys have seen a lot of comments and varying opinions on this, so I would love to hear your opinions as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.